So you want to complain, and that's okay. It's okay to complain, you guys. I'm going to devote this entire video to men who want to complain. My point was, don't bring it to me, and I'm going to tell you where you can bring it and what you can do about it. We all need to complain, okay? Um, I sometimes make rant videos where I'm complaining, like, don't bring me your complaints, you know? But there are also times that I complain privately because not all complaints can be brought to the public. And by the way, when I watch people's videos, when I watch men's videos, and I watch a lot of videos by men, I watch The Diary of a CEO, Chris Williamson, I love watching Scott Galloway, I've watched Man Talks, Dad Starting Over, I watch Mormon Stories podcast, Live from the Sofa. Like I watch a lot of male creators on YouTube. Coleman Hughes, Joe Rogan, Bill Burr, just a few coming that I'm just thinking of now. Kyle Kolinsky. But one thing I've never done is go on a man's channel and start complaining about men. Like that never even occurred to me. Number one, because it's very disrespectful to go into someone's space and complain about them. And number two, because I don't want to be seen as some whiny victim. That's such a turnoff. But if I want to complain, I'll do it privately to myself, to a friend, maybe on my channel, in my own spaces. So I just want to let you know that it's considered really improper manners to go to someone and complain, unless they personally have done something to hurt you. And also, to me as a woman looks for a man who's safe, confident, strong, and stable. And we don't like you coming at us throwing out your complaints. It's very repulsive to us as women, and it's a turnoff. Now, my channel, I'm not a therapist, I'm not a coach, I don't even sell you anything. The only way I make money off this channel is off the ads. This is more like a fun thing that I do, okay? So I don't have to put up with any bullshit to try to sell you something. I don't. I'm just being real. And in real life, a woman wants a man with a plan. Okay, you're stronger. You're supposed to have it together. We're counting on you as a man to be the provider and to be the protector, not to come complaining. I'm not your therapist. I'm not your mama. And I'm not like a caretaker. So it's a turnoff to a woman when a man comes complaining. All right. But you do have reasonable things to complain about. We all do. So the rest of this video will be dedicated to how you can handle your complaints. I'm going to refer you again to this book, The Language of Emotions. Okay, and this has to do also with boundaries. It's like, okay, what are the things that I can say to another person, and what are the things that I have to work out in myself before I speak to them? And in this book, there's a chapter in the beginning. It's called Building Your Raft. And that's the practice for maintaining boundaries and getting a grip on ourselves. It's about getting a grip on ourselves. So the first practice is how to have a boundary, how to feel grounded, safe in our body, and realize that we're safe in our own boundary. Okay, so that we can be aware of what comes in and what comes out. The second practice has to do with burning contracts, like things that you were led to believe or things you agreed to that you don't want to agree to. There's a practice for, writing that all out, imaginary, and burning that as a way of letting go of things that you don't want to believe in. So a lot of men might want to go to the burning contracts to burn the belief that all women are just bitches, out to get your money that you don't actually even have any of. But here's the one about criticism. Conscious complaining. Okay, this is the conscious complaining. So I'm going to read this to you about how to do conscious complaining. How to complain consciously. You can be grounded or not, inside your strong boundary or not, it doesn't matter. All that matters is that you're in a foul mood and you have some privacy. You start your complaining with some sort of phrase like, I'm complaining now. If you're inside, you can complain to the walls or furniture, to a mirror, or to whatever strikes your fancy. If you're outside, you can complain to plants and trees, animals, nature, the sky, the ground, or your God. If you're a strong complainer like I am, you might want to create a complaining shrine for yourself with supportive pictures of grumpy cats, bratty kids, barking dogs, political cartoons, and whatever calls to your complaining nature. When you've found your perfect complaining site, let yourself go and give a voice to your dejected, hopeless, sarcastic, nasty, bratty self. Bring sarcastic humor out of the shadows and really whine and swear about the frustrations, impossibilities, and absurdities of your situation. Complain for as long as you like. And when you run out of things to say, thank whatever you've been whining or yelling at. Thank the furniture, the walls, the ground, the trees, your complaining shrine, or your God for listening, and end your conscious complaining session by bowing, shaking off, and then doing something really fun. That's it. People who try this practice are astonished to find that complaining doesn't pull them further down into the doldrums. Actually, it has precisely the opposite effect because it breaks through stagnation and repression and lets you tell it like it is without repercussions. You restore your flow again, the truth is told again, the decks are cleared, and you get an important time out. And because this is a solitary practice, there is no danger of losing face or hurting someone else's feelings. Instead, it's like a quick loop for your soul. Afterward, you'll find that you can revisit your struggles with renewed vigor and vision. She talks about how conscious complaining is very important. If you only make time for work and you never make time for play and rest or for kvetching, moaning, whining, and complaining, your psyche will become flat barren. Your flow will evaporate. You'll deteriorate into perfectionism, and you'll have no fun at all. Many parts of you will demand a vacation from all your striving and perfection, and that's when distractions will start to loom. Conscious complaining gives a voice to your struggles, and in so doing, it restores your flow, your energy, your sense of humor, and your hope. It sounds contradictory, but you just can't be happy unless you complain. And then she also talks about how positive affirmations are not really that good because they attempt to deal with issues in an incomplete and distracting way, and they're actually abusive to your emotions. So it's just better to just be honest with yourself. So that's what you do, guys. Guys, when you get upset women, just do this conscious complaining practice. That's what you do. Okay, that's tip number 1. Tip number 2 is to join a men's group. Okay, I was talking to one of my friends today, and he just joined the men's group. He's the one that recommended this book to me, Men's Work. And he shared with me that he joined this men's group. It's called the Alliance, and they have small groups and bigger groups. I think he said it was $42 a month, which is really good. And they have online and in-person sessions. And it's all about doing shadow work, and there are a lot of strong, grounded men. If you look up Connor Beaton, he has the channel Man Talks. When I first saw him, I thought, man, this guy is so integrated. He's so strong and so solid. He's got this very calm, masculine, strong energy, and that's super freaking hot. Guys like him are always in relationships. He's in a relationship, so I can't have him, darn it, but I'd love a guy like that. So That's why I make these videos, because I'm like, I want a guy who's like strong and grounded and stable and interesting. But anyway, by the way, this guy doesn't even know I exist. I'm not getting any money off this, at all. I wonder if I asked him if I could interview him from my channel, he might just blow me off, just like Robert Glover blew me off. He didn't even reply when I asked him if I could interview him from my channel, because I might not have enough subscribers to get some of these people that want to talk to me, or I don't know, but I thought he was a really cool guy. He has a men's group, and then the author of The Dead Bedroom Fix, he also runs a men's group. It's called the DSO Fraternity. So you might want to check this out. This is more for the guys who are like in relationships with women who don't want to have sex anymore, like the people pleaser guys. This group is more for the people pleaser guys. And this group is more probably for all men that really need to level up into their masculinity. Now, the man who recommended this book to me has no trouble getting women. He gets a lot of women, but he still wants to work on some things. But most of the men in this group are struggling with getting women. So that would be tip number 2, is to join a men's group, because whining to me isn't going to help you at all. Like, what men need are other men who've gone through the shits, and who've come out on the other side and who are strong. And by the way, both of these men that I'm referring you to are married with children, okay? So you want to get your advice, and you don't have to take my word for it. I think you should do your own research. In my opinion, there could be many other men's groups. It's important to listen to a man who's in a healthy relationship and who has children, not the players, not the pickup artists. It's like, pick a guy that you want to be like and see if this guy's actually giving you powerful tools for a reasonable amount of money, or if he's just like trying to get your money. Oh, a third one is Healthy Gamer GG. He also has, I think, groups, or they do one-on-one coaching, and it's at a reasonable price. And in my opinion, all these 3 men actually want to help men, okay? They all want to help men because they've struggled, and they came out on the other side, and they want to help you. Other men who've struggled are just trying to help you get game or whatever. To me, that's bullshit. The third thing I want to tell you guys is I just watched a YouTube video on Diary of a CEO, and he had on Scott Galloway. I'm a huge fan of Scott Galloway. Again, a very masculine man, a married man with children. I think he's very attractive for being in his 50s. And he's also devoted to helping younger men. You can tell he really cares. He has teenage boys. And I'm going to link the video that I was watching in the description. But I'm going to tell you a couple of the things he said. I got to get my notes. Okay, now before I go into that, I will tell you that I also grew up in that same era that Scott Galloway grew up in, before the phone, okay, when there were a lot of what we call third spaces, like community spaces where people would meet and talk. The mall was huge, okay? We would go to the mall and we would walk around and we would see other boys and maybe we would talk to them. Skateland. I used to go to Skateland, and then they would have like a couple skate, and boys would have to come up and ask us to skate, and then we would hold hands and skate, and our hands were all sweaty, and boys had to get up the courage to ask us to dance. In elementary school, when we had like square dancing or other things, the boys had to ask us to dance. Well, the boys didn't have porn and phones to distract them, and so they actually had to ask women out. That's what they did. And there was a lot more interaction in real life between men and women. And one thing I did with my sons is I got them comfortable doing things for themselves. Like even when they were 5, if they wanted a play date, I showed them how to dial the number. You can ask your friend to come over to play. Or if there was a problem with the teacher, you try addressing it first, if the teacher is disrespectful or rude, of course I'm going to step in because of the power disparity, but you go talk to the teacher. Like, I empowered my kids, and they did talk to people. They talked to adults. They had to learn how to shake hands. These are the kinds of things that boys need to do, and women too, girls. Scott Galloway talked about how his 13-year-old son, he makes his sons greet a stranger every day. Like, we're not going inside till you've gone and said hi to this person, even if you just go up and pet their dog. So you have to get comfortable with rejection. This whole thing of everyone gets a trophy, we don't want you to feel rejected, is making you into like a little wussy. It's not good. It's weakening you. It's like you never work your muscles. And I think it's good for women too, to put ourselves in new situations, say hi to new people. And every person who's successful, every man who's successful, every woman who's successful has faced rejection. We have to get used to facing rejection. It's like building a muscle. So you got to get young kids used to that already and teach them it's okay. Healthy Gamer GG is a very popular YouTube channel. And he talks about how he applied to medical school 100 and some times, I think 170 or something. And then the 180th time application, he was finally accepted. My sons have done the same thing. One of my sons applied for a certain job that he wanted, a very elusive job, like 3 or 4 times when he was in his early 20s. It was a very, very elusive job, okay? And the 3rd time he got it, it was very competitive, but he kept trying, okay? That's what you have to do. You have to keep trying. Whoever told you that you should get it at the first time, it gave you bad advice. What makes you a real man that women want is that you keep trying, that you don't give up. That's what women want in you. A real woman doesn't care that you're rich, but we want to know that you keep trying, that you can overcome rejection, that you have a plan. Talks about that too. Women want a plan. They don't need you to be rich. They want to know that you have a plan, and your plan can change. So this is why I'm giving you some of these tips that Scott Galloway gives, because I'm hoping that they will speak to your masculine core, and like that you'll feel it, that it will speak to you and enliven you. Also, when he starts working with men, he takes their phone. It's like, okay, let's look at all the apps you're on, like TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, Coinbase, a gaming site, a porn site, whatever all the stuff is, Twitter, YouTube. And let's see how many hours a week that you spend on this. Between 10 and 50 hours a week. Well, let's look at this like a bank account, like it's your money, and let's reallocate some of that time away from your phone and get out there and start working and making money. Because once you start making money, regardless of what it is, it's going to increase your hunger to make more money. And that's what you got to do. As a man, you've got to be out in the world, what we all do. We have to be productive and make money. We can't just sit back consuming media all day long. Okay, a certain amount is fine, especially if it's stuff that we're learning or that's relaxing or inspiring, but it can't just be so much. The second thing he says, invest time in organizations and activities that put you in the company of strangers, volunteering, mentors, so that you get used to rejection, that you're exposed to new ideas, that you're exposed to people who uplift you. You've got to get out of the house and get around these things. Going to events, going somewhere outside of your comfort zone. Because the more you become lazy and domesticated and DoorDash from your living room sofa, work from home, DoorDash from your sofa, even exercise at home, it's going to make you weak. And it's going to make you depressed. Now, to increase your romantic mojo, moderate your consumption of porn. Scott Galloway says, you can't expect men to eliminate, but you've got to moderate it, because to the extent that you're just sitting on your sofa being a bystander to having your sexual needs met by jerking off, it's going to weaken you as a man, and women won't find you attractive. Like the guy who wrote this book, he found himself at a bottom. He was a womanizing drinker, and he found himself sleeping in his car for 3 months. and he had to lift himself up by the bootstraps and change his daily habits. I want to find that and give you some of the points, but that ends the section on Scott Galloway. He's writing a new book. He said it will be out next spring. I think he's a very good resource for men because he cares about men, he speaks to men, and he also says that men need a woman in their life to get. A woman is a motivator for a man. A woman is a motivator for a man. So when men are watching porn and they're not meeting women, or they've given up on women, it makes them weaker men because, not necessarily, not all of you, but for these young men, he talks about when he was a young man, it was his girlfriend at the time that he later married. I think he's on a second marriage now. But she said, if you're just going to do that, if you want to keep having sex with me and you want to be with me, you've got to get your shit together. And Healthy Gamer GG talks about that also. A woman is going to be the one that says, you got to get your shit together if you want to be with me. A good woman will tell you that so she can inspire you to be the best version of yourself. Guys, you're not going to get things out of life by being like lazy on your sofa. You've got to like be in your body and do stuff. And a lot of that has to do with having good habits. So that's the last part I want to read. Okay, and this is how to deal with problems in your life. We are the children of medicated men, and we have adopted a medicated way of living. If you're like some men, you use booze to socialize, weed to relax, sugar to feel satiated, porn to release pent-up sexual frustration and stress, and any number of pharmaceuticals to regulate your mind and body. The endless options for TV series and movies occupy real estate in your daily life, while social media has quickly hijacked your morning and evening routines, giving you a false sense of connection as you scroll through other people's lives while silently sitting next to someone you'd say is important to you, but who you often feel the furthest from. As boredom, monotonous routines, and petty frustrations mount, something must be done to alleviate the all-too-familiar feelings of despair, rage, and loneliness that we have become immersed in because of our overconsumption of other people's online commentary. Now, you have two choices as a man. You can to regulate your internal system. You through unconsciously through coping mechanisms like beer, social media, pills, or consciously with generative habits. Okay, so now let's talk about the generative habits. This is really huge. You might also want to watch Andrew Huberman podcast for that. He's got some good stuff. By the way, my sons do all this kind of stuff. I mean, my ex-husband, my son's like, I'm used to seeing men show up powerfully, but so many men aren't, and like, where are all the men that do this? I make these videos because I want more men to be like this so I can find a man. That's why I make these videos. The task you're faced with is learning how to transmute your coping mechanisms into more strengthening and sustaining rituals. Say you have a habit of eating late at night or watching porn before bed as a means of scrubbing away the drudgery of the day. This coping mechanism, over time and through very real and sustained effort, can be replaced by a meditation practice, breath work, cold shower, infrared sauna, tai chi, or any number of other rituals that will be more conducive to regulating your mind and body, ultimately putting you, rather than some external tool, at the helm of creating inner peace. The aim here is not to change all habits at once. To begin, intentionally choose a coping mechanism that feels conquerable, leaving the more ingrained coping mechanisms for when you've built some momentum and resiliency. For example, I used to wake up and immediately check my email, which almost led to spending the first 30 to 45 minutes of my day on social media. This was a coping mechanism for the anxiousness I often felt in the morning as I woke up thinking about everything I needed to do for work. I committed to spending at least 1 month getting up and doing 30 minutes of breath work and yoga in the morning instead. To be honest, it was daunting the first few weeks. It was challenging to sit and breathe while my brain and body kicked and screamed about the change, eager to get on social media or check my email, pleading for the slow drip of dopamine these platforms have conditioned us with. Thankfully, over time, it got easier. I found myself waking up and craving the silence, peace, and ritualistic morning breathing. I felt more at ease, in control, and energized to tackle my task list, and I even found that I needed less coffee to do so. Over the years, I've given up drinking alcohol entirely, ended my addiction to porn, stopped smoking weed, and significantly reduced how much TV and social media I consume. In their place, I have taken up boxing, yoga, breath work, meditation, tai chi, playing an instrument, and various other rituals to help sustain my well-being. My family, business, marriage, and child all benefit because of these changes. It in no way makes me a perfect man, but it certainly makes me a more effective and valuable man, something that has also brought with it a deep level of fulfillment and joy that was lacking before. And then also in his later chapter, he talks about being a victim and how men learn to be a victim because they were victimized. You were victimized at some points. You learned to be a victim as a coping tool and how you can stop being a victim. So that's what I was just reading from Men's Work. And so I've given you guys a lot of tools of things that you can do to get out of these ruts. It's going to require changing habits. And changing habits and having a plan is going to make you feel more fulfilled. It's going to make you so attractive to women. Just try it on and see, because we can sense like your energy and your calmness and your groundedness and your presence. And you can't be a present, grounded man if you're the guys that are always on their phone. They're so nervous and scattered. Like, I don't even like to be around them. You've got to be calm and grounded. You've got to be off your phone and in your body, doing grounded things, lifting heavy shit, having a breathing practice, knowing how to ground yourself, and not too much sugar or caffeine either. Like, that's what makes you attractive. And that's what makes you healthy too. So this I think that men need more help. I don't think women need that much help. Women just have to be pretty. They have to find a job to support themselves. And they have to be playful and fun and nice. It's not that hard. But men have a bigger road to toe because you are not a beauty object, okay? It's very rare to find a man that's hot. And the guys that are hot, they got a lot of women. The only guys that are really hot are gay men. Let's be honest. You're not a beauty prize, okay? So you've got to do something. And fortunately, God and the universe and your DNA gave you a bunch of stuff to help you be effective in the world, because you have a bigger brain than women do. You have more muscle. You have bigger lungs. You have testosterone. And we know that testosterone gives you energy. But a lot of men are squirreling away all of the gifts that you are given to be successful in the world. Your sense of adventure, your strength, your power, your lust, your desire to provide, your desire to lead, have all been domesticated out of a lot of men by our society. And then a lot of men hamper their own strength by having shitty habits, laying around on a sofa, eating a bunch of junk food, watching too much porn, and being a victim. When you're just okay, I just even look at my sons. They're always learning something new. They love to learn. They're just so... unfortunately, there were a lot of bad parents, you know. There were a lot of bad parents. 25% of boys have no father at home, okay? A lot of it is the bad parenting. But the good news is we can all change a lot in life. So I hope that these tips have helped you, because you know, we all have to bring something to the table. Even me, okay, I'm 62, okay, I'm old, but I make my money off of, you know, I have a Just for Fans, okay? Now, the reason my guys like my Just for Fans is because I'm authentic. I have a very sensual type of page. I'm authentic, and I'm fit. If I was fat, like most women over 40, if I was like angry, if, you know, at men, uh, you know, nobody would watch it. Okay? I have to do stuff too. As a woman, I have to do stuff too to have men desire me. I have to, I mean, I like doing these things. I have to be fit. And that requires a healthy lifestyle, getting enough sleep, drinking enough water, eating healthy foods, working out, doing strength training, doing cardio. You know, maintaining, like, being in touch with my emotions, not holding on to anger, being playful, being fun, taking risks, okay? Taking risks to increase my aliveness and bring new energy in. You know, being open, listening to people, not, you know, I gotta work on my personality. I gotta make sure that I'm fun, that I'm, you know, I gotta stay in touch with my sexual energy. Like, I gotta do all that stuff. It's not handed to me. Have you seen most women over 40? They're very ugly. They're very fat. And a lot of them get very, like, angry, or I don't need a man, I got my dog, I got my travels. Like, people like to be around me. They all think I'm fun. But I've had to work on that. Okay, so that's what you guys have to do. You got to work on your personality. Even women have to work on it. And I have to work on my fitness too. Okay, I have to be fit. I like being fit. I just uploaded an animal flow video because I tried different things. Like, I tried some animal flow. And a lot of that comes from having a love of learning. And like a couple nights ago, I went to this wine bar event on the singles group. I'm like, oh, I do not want to go all the way out to La Jolla and this wine bar. Or do I have, you know, I got to talk to people. Like, I made myself go. Okay, I made myself go. And, you know, I just stayed for an hour and I went home, but I made myself go. And I'm glad I went. I got to see some things I would have never seen otherwise. So, you know, a life well lived. Oh, another thing I want to say is I do not believe in taking medications for your anxiety or depression. That is very bad because they numb your emotions, they numb your sexuality, and a lot of them, there's a certain percentage of people that are ill for years coming off of these Xanax and antidepressants and stuff. Like Jordan Peterson, they have this akathisia or something. And there's a psychiatrist I've been watching on YouTube who has these stories. These people come on and talk about, you know, how their significant other ended their life because of all the years that it was so horrible coming off of these Xanax or Ambien, whatever. You know, that's another coping mechanism. That's not good. These doctors are just throwing pills at you when the problem could be you're grieving the loss of someone died and you're grieving and they just want to give you pills, or you have anxiety because you're talking. I was coaching someone who had anxiety talking, and we just practiced having him pretend he was in front of people and talking. Sometimes if you just plan something ahead and do it, or you can do cognitive behavioral therapy, you can just talk to someone, you can get the emotions book, you can join a men's group, like start exercising and eating better. You know, these medications that people take, there's so many things in our society that are out to get you, you know. So don't always trust the doctors. Do your own research. Trust your body. Trust your body, you know. Trust your feelings. Trust your body. You know, those are the things that make you attractive. I would never date a guy who's on medication ever in my life. I would never date someone who has a mental health disorder. Like, this whole thing of anxiety and depression is so much bullshit. Okay, if someone died, you're going to be sad. That's called grief. If you're nervous in a social situation, that's normal. You don't have to put like a fucking label on it. Like, not everyone likes to stand up in front of 1,000 people and perform. You don't have to call that anxiety. Like, it's normal to not want to be in front of 1,000 people. We didn't evolve for that. Why you have to give it like a negative label? Just learn to deal with it, okay? This is why I'm single. It's like, I got my shit together. I don't take any meds because I don't believe in that shit. People just do themselves a disservice taking medication for everything. And that's how you dim your light. You dim your light by getting on these medications and just trusting the doctors. It's big pharma is funding all the studies telling you need this stuff. Have you tried something natural first? Have you tried therapy first? Have you tried exercising and changing your lifestyle and getting up early and just realizing that some of your emotions are there for a reason? You're not supposed to always be happy. It's weird. No one is ever always happy. Like, our emotions flow through us. They flow. You gotta let them flow. I think maybe that's why I'm happy too, because we also got to be authentic. You can't please other people. I'm just thinking about all the people I know recently were getting married, young people in their 30s, like kind of my kids' ages and their friends and relatives and cousins. And it's all like the parents telling them, how the wedding should go. It's like, stop people pleasing your parents. Stop people pleasing some pretend woman or man. Just be you. Unapologetically, I'm a sacred whore. I'm a sacred whore unapologetically, okay? I don't give a shit what some men think about me. Why do I care? You're not paying my bills, You got to be authentic to yourself, okay? That's another thing people have to do, but it takes effort. I got up this morning at 6. I did not want to go to the gym with my trainer at 7:30, but I did, and I had a great workout, and it was good because I got a good night's sleep. And I noticed when I take my magnesium, I also have more energy. And then I did my animal flow and I uploaded here and I feel pretty good. And I'm glad I went. And one day this week, I'm going to get up at 5 because I'm going to go to a 6 a.m. Pilates. And then after that, I'm going to go to an Orange Theory. But I take a couple days a week off too. But I want to challenge myself. I want to get up early. Because getting up early gives you more energy. Sleeping in is like very bad for the body, because Andrew Huberman even talks about how when you get up early, you want to go outside. It doesn't work if you're looking through glass. You have to go outside and see the bare sun. Talk about bare pussy, but now in bare light. Don't look into the sun, but you want the bare light into your retina. And these photons, they can't come into glass, so it has to be outside. No glasses probably. And they do something. They wake up your mitochondria, your metabolism, and give you cortisol and wake you up naturally. But you don't get that if you go outside. If you stay inside and you're on your phone and you're working, you don't go outside till 1. Then you get that, but it's late in the day and it's not the right kind. And our body apparently has this mechanism where, okay, we wake up. These photons wake us up, and then 16 hours later, our body has like this internal clock that helps the melatonin set in 16 hours later. And so I'm convinced these people that say they're a night owl, they're full of shit. They just have an unhealthy habit because they're getting their light too late in the day, so their cycle is way off. We didn't evolve to be night owls. There's so much bullshit, So the more we can live in accordance with nature, get up early, get a good workout, take a cold shower, which I don't really do that, but a lot of people like doing that. Eat healthy food, do everything in moderation. We're just going to feel better. I feel really good about my life. My only thing is I can't find any men I want to date. I haven't found a man I want to date in 10 years. 10 years, okay? Why? Because I think they're too run down. They're too rigid, and the good ones are already in a relationship. They don't come up and talk to me, so they lack courage, they lack strength, they lack joy. That's what I see is lacking in men. Courage to talk to me, strength, physical strength, and courage to talk to me, physical strength, and joy. Like, I don't want some old guy who's all rigid and riding his bike. Like, that just creeps me out. Like, I like a guy who's like in his animal spirits, you know, because I'm in my animal spirits. I like to fuck, but not randoms. I don't hook up, so don't ask me about that. But I'm a sexual being, I'm a spiritual being, and I want a man who's got good energy. Like, where are they? That's one thing that's missing in my life. So I make these videos. It's me projecting what I want onto men. Like, if you guys could just be men like this guy, you know, I want more men like this guy. If I could see men like this guy, I would be all about it. You know, I would be all about it. Of any age, like a Scott Galloway or Connor Beaton, I would be all over it. You know, and that's what men need to be. That's what you need to be, to do the work that these guys did. And these guys all had, Scott Galloway didn't have a father. I think this guy had a stepdad, you know. So these men all did it, and you can too. You can do it too. This is a video for the men. And I want to hear from the ladies, like, what, if you're single or you're find something that you're missing in men, what is it that you really like in a man, and what do you think is missing? What would you like to see more of in men that would just make your heart sing with joy? I mean, for me, I just want a man who's stronger than me, because I'm strong. I'm pretty independent. I'm pretty physically strong. And I want a man who can, like, pin me down and have good boundaries and be like, no, Sharzad, not that. Not going to get away with that. Who can just handle me physically, emotionally, and mentally, who's interesting, who's got interesting things to say, and who's confident. Like, I would love that. I would totally love that. That's what I yearn for. You know, masculinity is a beautiful thing. I want to see more of it. So this is my call to the universe. It's like, bring me masculine men that want a relationship. I would just so welcome it. Masculine, like, you know. But sometimes I make videos and I'm like, I like younger guys, and then some short fat guy will be like, I'm younger, do you like me? No. Like, are you fit? Are you stable? Do you have something going on? You know, it would have to be someone like my ex-husband, but a better version than my ex-husband. You know, so yeah, so, and a lot of guys are just way too fat. I don't like double chins, you know, because I like a guy who's fit and in his animal spirit. Men in their animal spirits are in their bodies, like they're working out and they're doing stuff, and I'm just not attracted. Men who are fat are very unappealing, and that's a lot of estrogen. Like, it's all natural biology stuff that drives this. And the problem is, since men are stronger, we expect you to act stronger. That's the thing. So when a man is like underemployed, it's kind of a turnoff. When he is fat, it's kind of a turnoff. Like, we want, since you're stronger, we want you to like hold us and protect us. Like, I don't want to hold you and protect you, you know, maybe at night when we cuddle, but I don't want to be in charge of you. If I were a man, it would be so easy for me to get a woman, because I would just work out. Like, even sometimes when I wear pants and stuff, or my cowboy outfit with my belts, or like a tie, women are checking me out because they love my masculine energy. Women love my masculine energy, and I have a lot of masculine energy, even though I'm so feminine. Like, I think I'm fairly balanced. And I want a man who's got more masculine energy than I do, you know, who loves my power and who can be like, I can handle that girl. That's hot. That's hot. I don't care how much money he has, but he's got to be able to handle me, intrigue me, excite me, fuck me really well. And, you know, that's hard to find. And the more women become successful, it's not true that, oh yeah, women are taking over our jobs, we can't do it. Do better. Our economy has a lot of room for more success. We have a lot of underemployed people. We have a lot of outsourced stuff. We have a big need for more healthcare workers, more physical therapists, more men to start men's groups. Okay, do this work. Start your own men's group. Write your own book. Start your own YouTube channel. Part-time. Learn a new language. Learn an instrument. Volunteer somewhere. Get a mentor. Get some ideas, start a business. Just do it part-time at first and see where it goes. These are things that are going to make you attractive. And for goodness sakes, get rid of your belly, because a belly on a guy is a huge fucking turn off. Because if you can't handle your own body and your own food intake, how can you handle me? If you can't handle your own emotions, how can you handle mine? I'm going to leave you with that. And that's why I get turned off by these whiny men in the comments. Like, you can't even handle your own emotions. How can you handle mine? That's a woman's subconscious being like, yikes, back off. Be a man who can handle himself in public. Because when you're leaving comments on a YouTube channel, you're in the public eye. So conduct yourself appropriately for being in the public. You know, be a man who can provide and protect. You know, I bet Scott Galloway isn't in the comments whining about how hard men have it. Okay, so this video went longer than I wanted it to. Maybe I should do some chapters. I should do some chapters so that people can look ahead. But now for me to do the chapters, I have to go back and watch 46 minutes of the video. So I don't want to do it. But next time, what I can do when I make these videos is kind of keep a note of how far in I am when I change topics. Because just to summarize, what I was sharing here is it's okay for you to complain. And in this book, there's a conscious complaining practice, which I shared with you, which is that you find something that you're going to say, I'm going to complain. You list all your complaints, and then you thank that thing, the wall or the mirror, for listening to you. Number 2, I said join a men's group, and the authors of these books both have men's groups. Number 3, I mentioned Scott Galloway as a resource. I'm going to link that video I recently watched of him. It's just from a few days ago, I believe, in the description. And finally, I just shared a little bit of my own views in my own life. So, thank you for watching my video.